What's up, you guys? This is Warren with Scale Audio, and today we're going to talk about the difference between a mix and a master. So, the idea behind the mix is to get a balanced sound or a balanced song, and really you're affecting all the instruments individually, okay? This is where you're making the creative decisions on what's going to shine. You kind of change things up so that there's moments in the song and you have all these parts that meld and come together to make a piece of music, a story, to make something more than just the sounds that were sent to you, okay? And then on the other hand, the master is affecting the entire track itself. You're not just affecting specific moments, you're not just affecting specific sounds, you aren't trying to bring them together and balance them. You're trying to take that entire song and you're affecting it all together as a whole song to try and make it so that it'll translate better across multiple systems and to try and make sure that it reaches a good loudness level. So mastering engineering is really about affecting it as a whole and putting that polish or that shine over the entire thing and making sure it translates well and, getting really technical with the output of the sound itself for what its specific use is going to be. Whereas the mix is just trying to meld the entire track together instrument by instrument to make a decently balanced and a great song, really, depending on what the song is. You're either going to have a lot of dynamics, no dynamics, a lot of moments, and that's the job of the artist and the mixing engineer to really bring to life. An artist and a producer are going to work together to create the song. The mixing engineer is going to work to make sure that it shines and that those moments shine. So if we take a look at my DAW here, I actually have a song that I made for somebody. He's a dancer. It's a New York flex tune. And in this song, I've got all of this stuff in my mixer here where I've mixed it. Now, when you're mixing, we're doing things like using buses to try and keep CPU usage low. But really, honestly, you don't want to do too much to every single instrument. You really just want to pick 4 instruments that you really want to shine. And almost every single time, your kick and your snare are going to be 2 of those. And besides that, if you have a vocal, that's going to be the other one, which really just leaves you with one thing left. The biggest issue people get into when mixing is they want to make everything shine. And for a well-balanced song, you just can't do that because sometimes, if we have a sample playing and we're playing another instrument, that sample might borrow some low end from that other instrument. So you come and you just start cutting low end on everything, you might lose that. There's a lot of things and a lot of ways instruments affect each other, and you don't want to overhaul it or overdo it because you might find yourself running into a crappy mix. So if I play this.
In order to keep you and your family safe, the CDC is advising that you stay in your homes and lock all doors.
Right? And so my job here, not only making the track, but was to balance it and make it sound decent. So you didn't see anything going through our bass or our kick because I printed it because it's just trying to record with that. There was way too much CPU usage and the project wouldn't really work. But, all of this here going on, all these levels on these faders and all these effects are the basic idea of what we're doing. We're balancing the volumes, we're panning things to one side or the other to get them out of the way of each other. I'm doing effects on the main things I want to shine. So, if you'll see here on my sample, I don't really have a whole lot going on because this is a dance track and I really want to accentuate, specific moments, which means a lot of my processing was on the kicks and on these vocal chops, and so because that's some of the stuff I wanted to shine. Now, when we're talking about mastering, we have this final track over here, the master track, okay? But really, I don't have anything on this master track besides I was just bringing the level down because I didn't have enough project space. So I have a whole project for the master. This was just to make sure that I wasn't peaking or spiking above where I was supposed to be for the export of the track because I didn't really gain stage properly at the beginning. And rather than sit there and turn down every single individual channel and try to rebalance it after I just worked through creating the entire song, so I was mixing as I was going, I just turned down the entire thing itself. So if we open up our other project, now if we notice, we've got just the track in here, not a whole instrumental, and we've got our master here, okay? And in our master, we've got our tape saturator here, okay? And I've got a master preset running through this, and I'll turn these on one at a time so you can hear them, okay? We've got our max bass, which introduces higher low end, basically. And then I've got an equalizer where I just bumped up a little bit over here just to, I felt like I needed a little more shine. It's just a tiny amount of processing I added. Okay. And I've got my dynamics control by frequency range over here. Something I had going on was that my kick and my sub were really strong. And so I was doing some taming down here to handle the peaks. I would have it hitting the compressor beforehand and start compressing, and then a limiter above it. And this was before our actual limiter for the end of the song. So I've got another tape effect besides that original J37. And this tape effect, this saturation, I was just giving kind of an edge to the song because it's a dance track, and I really want everything to stand separate from each other because people got to hit those beats, man. So giving an edge to the master is what I want for this, okay? So next we have an exciter. As you can see, I boosted the heck out of the highs over here. And the reason being is that I really wanted this to shine. And I also, gave a little bit across the board, but a little bit in the high mids as well as a little bit in the low mids. Now, this was very low mid heavy track, and you don't want to shine too much or add too much in the higher, and basically the 1 to 10K range, because that can translate really crappily to a phone. You don't want too much strength there. It'll create problems. So I opened up the top end a little bit. I just wanted a little bit of space at the end. I wanted the track to feel open and shiny. So did that here with an imager. And then the last thing that I have coming through here is my maximizer, which is basically my limiter, just cutting off at the top. And I was a little bit low mid heavy, like I said, so I added a little bit of compression right here, just taming the low end just a tiny bit. When you're mastering, you don't want to do big moves. You're not mixing. Even mixing, you don't want to do big moves. But when mastering, you generally want to be a lot smaller on the moves you do because you're affecting everything as a whole. So anything you do is going to affect another instrument. So if you hear that the sample's way too bright and you start turning that down without even noticing it, you can dull out the drums, and things like that. It's better to have them send you a mix back that's better and more balanced than for you to try and balance it yourself. With and without these effects, without,
In order to keep you and your family.
we'll fast forward here. Okay. And with. I'll go one at a time. First, our J37 tape. Our max bass, adding some higher bass frequencies. Okay. We'll go one at a time in ozone. So our equalizer, adding a little bit of high end.
Where did you get that gun?
Our dynamics, see that we're taming. Just kind of touching the low end. Give us some more headroom. Hard edge on the tape. Ready? Our exciter. And our imager. I'll do these three again
In order to keep you and your family safe,
when it's
the CDC
playing
is
some of
advising
the
that you
higher
stay-
sounds. So again, the hard edge. Our exciter. Imager. And then final limiter here, bringing us up to -14 LUFS. So that this translates well between different streaming companies. And so that's the idea. We got our mix where we're mixing all the instruments together, balancing things, making sure they sit right. And we've got a master where we're putting the final shine over everything. And that's the difference between the mix and the master. I hope this video was helpful. If you liked, please like. If you have any comments, please comment. I always appreciate a subscribe. This is Warren with Scale Audio, and adios.